Daily Student family, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing good. And if you're new here, hello, my name's Kimberly and I hope you subscribe. Turn your post notifications on to get notified every single time that I upload, and give this video a massive thumbs up to be part of my weight loss journey channel. Now normally I do this at the end of the video, but if you guys would like to follow me on my personal Instagram page, then I'd love to have you over there. But also I have an inspirational fitness page where we are currently walking 10,000 steps every single day. I'm updating you guys every single day. But also, if you guys want to join just to see behind the scenes, a little extra of my life, then that is where you get all of that information as well. Now, as you can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to lose belly fat, but without exercise. And yes, it is completely possible. In fact, 80% of your weight loss comes down to your food and other things as opposed to actually exercise itself. And that's scientifically proven. I urge you to research on that. And that's just because the chemical processes within your body contributed by food, by all these other things, stress factors. And if that's more powerful than going to the gym for 12 hours a day, you just won't achieve the same effect. Food and other things are the thing that allows you to lose 80% of your weight loss. Today I'm going to be giving you that advice because I thought of this video when I was sitting down thinking, you know what, I've been on this weight loss journey for quite a while now, but I have times in the month where TMI, but I have a very, very bad period pains, period cramps, and that can put me out 7 to 9 days of the month where I'm not exercising. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to see a gym. I don't want to see a CrossFit exercise workout. I don't want to see CHLOE Ting's face as much as I even love her. That is just because of how painful it is, and we all go through that. You guys have heard about the food part of it and how healthy food, healthy eating, nutritious eating, having your protein, carbohydrates and all that sort of stuff. Well, thankfully for you, if you haven't, and again, you can never learn enough about that stuff, so I really, really urge you guys to constantly be learning and adapting your mindset to different foods and how different foods work best, all these fasting methods and non-fasting methods. But today's video I'm going to talk about a different aspect, because you've heard that different perspective that you probably don't even know sat there today, and I'm 100% confident that you're going to leave this video knowing more information about why belly fat can be removed or how you can aim to lose your belly fat. Now, I previously did a video that is now sitting on 400,000 views. Like, oh my goodness, thank you guys so much. And I was talking about how stress can really, really impact your weight gain. Now, today's video I'm actually going to specify why stress can really, really impact your stomach fat, and where the fat in your body is actually located. And that's going to blow your mind, because you're thinking stress can actually impact where your fat gets located. And yes, that is why we all have very, very different body shapes. Some people have thin legs, some people have larger legs, some people have pear shaped, some people have apple shaped. There's so many different shapes, and that is contributed to so many chemical factors of that specific gene or the person's body. In relation to how stress can really, really cause your weight gain, the stress hormone that we call quote unquote stress hormone is called cortisol. Now, cortisol is one of those hormones that will attack the places that have a larger amount of muscle. Your ab muscle, your stomach muscle, is actually only 10 millimeters thick. It's very, very tiny compared to your legs, compared to any other parts of your body. Your stomach muscle is very, very tiny. And when it comes to the cortisol, it won't be necessarily attacking that area and removing the fat away from it, because you have a very, very thin muscle where your ab layer is. Now, I urge you to do loads of research on this. I have a dietitian and a nutritionist, and we discuss these topics every single week and almost every single day, and I love sharing these with you guys. I want to give you some advice when you're doing these CHLOE Ting workouts, these get fit in 7 days doing this workout program. Yes, they can help, but why food is going to really, really impact that is because of that muscle being 10 millimeters thick. If the fat layer in front of that is 30 millimeters thick, let's say, you're never ever going to reveal that ab muscle without removing a substantial amount of fat in order to then see it. That is how thin your ab muscle is. Now, your cortisol levels is a stress hormone that rises in impacts of stress, fatigue. When you're thinking about too much, exam season, your cortisol will rise. Now, people who have, for example, thinner legs or thinner arms, it's because cortisol really, really attacks larger muscles of the body, and unfortunately we wish it could attack our stomach area. Now, let's say you're stressed and your cortisol is increased. Cortisol then results in higher levels of insulin, and you guys know I rave about how insulin is the cause of all cravings, of all sugary snacks, of all these little things that end up ruining our diet. In fact, let's scrap the word diet. Our healthy lifestyle. When we get to an end of a 7-day week, we think we're doing an amazing job, and all of a sudden we're craving every snack under the world. Think about the week that you've had. Have you had a stressful week? If your cortisol levels are increased, it will create more insulin that will go straight into your bloodstream, and then you are going to be craving a lot more food. In order to alleviate this, there are a few things that you guys can do. Now, stress management for your weight loss is so important. So when you think about how a lot of the fat within your body can end up going towards your stomach, it's catered for a lot of different different things. It's genetics, it's where your fat ends up being placed. People who have high levels of cortisol will end up having large amounts of fats in different areas as compared to other people. So if you find even in your most petite state, in your lowest weight, I can find that my stomach is still quite big, and that is due to different productions, your hormone levels. So when you're managing with stress levels, always remember that your fat placement, your stress levels are not your fault. Yes, we are on this journey to have a different lifestyle, to better our eating habits, but remember there are things beyond your control when it comes to stress, when it comes to all these hormones being created that is creating different parts of fat within your body. Sometimes these things are beyond our control and it's not your fault. It's learning on how to deal with it after. Now I'm going to give you a few tips on how to deal with this. Number one, you've heard me rave about this all the time, and that is eat less sugar. Now the reason why this is so important is because you really want to regulate your insulin, especially if your fat ends up being located in your stomach area, which by the way, can I add, is a very normal thing. So when you're eating less sugar, that insulin is really regulated, and when your cortisol is causing your insulin levels to rise as well, you are allowing your body to have more of a regulated insulin, which allows you to then mitigate that part of it. So really eating less sugar, because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, all my friends are slim, they eat loads of sugar and they stay slim. That is just because their body manages fat differently, and that is not, there's no right or wrong way for your body to be. It's just learning about how to manage how your body works. And although I always recommend seeing a dietitian and nutritionist to understand what your specific levels are, because every other person will have different levels of all these different things, of cortisol, of insulin, of metabolic rate. When you understand how yours specifically is, you will know yourself how much sugar is right to eat for your body to be able to function, to be able to store less fat in certain areas. So eating less sugar is very important, especially in order to train your body to not constantly crave either. Now you guys hear me constantly raving about HITT training, and now I'm going to tell you why specifically HITT training is so important if you want to actually start reducing fat within your body. Now HITT training is one of those exercises that doesn't cause you to overly breathe in and breathe out when you are doing a workout. The reason why this is so important is because when you're overly heavily panting, breathing in and out constantly all the time, what you are doing is you're actually creating that, or contributing to the creation of that stress hormone. Crazy, I know, and I didn't even know these things, half of these things, before I ended up, doing some research on it and visiting my nutritionist, my dietitian, and they taught me so much about how that can actually end up causing that stress hormone to rise. And although you'll come away thinking I've had an amazing workout, those actually are very much in sync. That heavy panting breathing is causing that creation of that cortisol hormone to go into action. Exercises like HITT training. HITT training is going to last you 30 minutes for the same effectivity as doing a sprint for, let's say, an hour, sprinting for an hour, and it's going to do you so much better on the body. By all means, that doesn't mean you need to cut out so many different types of exercising. Still have your range, still do your sprinting, but it's just things that you can bear in mind, that okay, I'm going to do this, but I also know that if I'm not seeing changes, if I'm not seeing results, this might be a better alternative to also mix into what I already have. And factors like that are so important when you take these tips. It's not to eliminate anything, it's not to eliminate sugary snacks, it's not to eliminate these things, it's to balance it. Now that you are aware, how are you going to balance these things in order to allow yourself to have that slimmer body, to have that slimmer stomach fat, to lose that stomach fat and start burning it? HITT training is very good. You're not going to be heavily panting, you're going to be sweating. By all means, I do HITT training and CrossFit almost every single day. I'm going to briefly talk about stress management, but if you do want to see my video or do your own research on stress management, it's so important. Whether you're in a 9-to-5 office job that is really stressful, whether you're having a really stressful time in your family life, or whether it's exam season and you're like, oh my goodness, I cannot deal anymore. Our stress management is so important because the hormones that you are creating that are going to be creating these areas that the fat gets stored, insulin gets rise. When it's that time of the month, I find that I want to eat anything and everything, and that is because these hormones are being maxed out and created more and more by certain things that you do, certain things that you think about, the things that you stress about. I 100% suggest, if you're starting your weight loss journey, to get a journal where you're writing down your feelings, emotions, what's causing you stress, how you can deal with that. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about why fasting is an amazing method to reduce that cortisol hormone. Fasting is not for everyone, and I obviously don't recommend this as a do or don't sort of method. It's completely up to you, and it's absolutely not for everyone. I think fasting is one of those where you still need to read up the pros and cons, but I'm not going to go into that in this video because we'll be going over by a very, very long time. Fasting produces a growth hormone. Now, growth hormone really helps with your metabolic rate. It increases this, but also it regulates insulin and cortisol levels. The reason why people end up losing so much weight on fasting isn't just because your body suddenly burns loads of fat. It's because you're craving less. Now, if you're someone who really struggles with cravings, I urge you to do your research first on intermittent fasting and see whether you want to incorporate it into your diet, and then find if it will work out within your routine, to then consider it as being a method of reducing your insulin levels and your cortisol levels. Now guys, I hope you have learned something new in this video. Now don't forget to come over and follow me on my inspirational fitness page. I'd absolutely love to have you on there. You get a deep insight of my day-to-day life. But also come over and follow me on my personal Instagram page, and do subscribe, like this video, and turn your post notifications on 1000. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye guys.